Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth with Maverick Florentino, and for today's video, a while back I did a video on my entire collection of amiibos and also my entire Wii U game collection as well, so go ahead and check those out if you haven't already done so. Now that the Switch 2 has been officially revealed and teased, and the original Switch is now been out for almost 8 years, which is kinda crazy to believe. And those of you who have owned the Switch for all those years, I know we've been getting a lot of Wii U ports as remasters or deluxe re-releases. Now, this video, there are still 5 games that are stuck on the Wii U, and I feel like eventually, at least for the most part, these are the ones that have a higher chance of getting released on the Switch. And eventually for the Switch 2, maybe with a bit of enhancements. And with one more game out of the way, being Xenoblade Chronicles X, the definitive edition, that was the one that I was waiting for, and I know a lot of fans were waiting for many years because it was stuck on the Wii U. It's finally out, it's here. I've already done a 5-hour live stream if you want to go ahead and check that out, and a video on how it looks on the Nintendo Switch OLED. And I'm super excited for the Nintendo April Direct and see if they're going to focus half on Switch games and half on Switch 2 news and games as well. We're going to see. I can't wait for that. But before we get started, consider hitting the like button, ringing that bell, becoming a member. As I do put in a lot of work for these edited videos, consider that, and leaving a comment. So let's get to it. So there are many exclusive games that are stuck on the Wii U, and I feel this first game is so unique that it's crazy to believe that there hasn't been any kind of a remaster or port to the Switch yet. And this game is Nintendo Land. Now this Nintendo Land included a controller for Luigi, an all green controller with some blue in the background, and a rubber covering for it as well. And if you haven't played this is one of those games that's fun for 2, 3, or 4 players. I just wish that some of those modes were expanded on, but one of my favorites for a single player and some multiplayer was the Metroid Adventure mode, which was really fun. And I have heard people say that this is heavily tied to the Wii U gamepad, which it is, but they can always do these with traditional controls. They can even fulfill the promise of having multiple switches and have it work that way, where if you connect different switches, you can individually have your screens just like intended, and that would be a really cool way to have a multiplayer asymmetrical gameplay.
Paper Mario Color Splash. This time around, Mario's adventure takes place on Prism Island. The island's been robbed of its color, throwing the land into chaos and all kinds of craziness into Mario's path.
Paper Mario Color Splash, I have to admit, was a disappointing game, although it was very pretty. Great music, great art style. The story was okay, but the combat system just couldn't match the original N64 or the Thousand Year Door. But I do give it credit for the great writing, and the art style and graphics are some of the best ever seen on the Switch because of that paper aesthetic.
Whoa, that doesn't look good. By using the power of paint, Mario can restore functionality to certain colorless objects that won't work without their color.
Now, one of the prettiest games I played on the Wii U is Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. It's just a shame that you had to look at your gamepad and not at the TV as much for you to appreciate the claymation art style. Hopefully this game does make it onto the Switch or the successor in the future. But man, this was such a great art style that I hope that it gets visited soon on another Kirby title. Now, Yoshi's Woolly World is another great looking, adorable game. Great art style, fun gameplay. It does remind me of a combination of Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Story. It's one of the few remaining titles that hasn't made it onto the Switch. And if they decided to do a deluxe version of this, they can also incorporate what they added into the Nintendo 3DS version with the Poochie levels, extra content, maybe add some online support, and even have it run consistently at 60 frames per second. But overall, this was a great, solid platformer. Now, one of the last games for this video is Star Fox Zero, and this one included the Star Fox Guard game, which was originally a type of a demo that was shown off before the Wii U released. And the Star Fox Guard was an okay game for what it was. It did use the gamepad very well. You were able to look around to see all the enemies coming towards you. But the main attraction obviously is Star Fox Zero, and I am a huge fan of Star Fox. And yes, the controls took so much to master, and I was very confused because Nintendo usually always nails the controls first before anything, and I think they try to do the Wii U gamepad gimmick too much for this game to succeed, and it was one of the things holding it back. But besides that, it had some really cool levels that you guys have to play the game, controls aside. Hopefully this is one of those games that also gets a future remaster, because it does need it really, really bad. But yeah, these were all of my Wii U games in my collection. And make sure you leave a comment down below and tell me which are your favorite Wii U games that you have. Thank you so much for watching and see you later. Bye.